if you've ever wanted to live in Japan, or simply have an interest in the country, chances are you've seen these kinds of videos online. Apartment tours where people show off every interesting nook and cranny of their Japanese apartment, and probably flaunt their ridiculously low rents. You might have seen my $400 apartment, my $300 apartment, and so on. But I'll do you one better. My first apartment in Japan cost $120. How? So let's set the stage for my old place. The apartment looks something like this. One main room with an adjoining kitchen. This type of room is categorized in Japan as a 1K, meaning one room with a separate kitchen. Another common configuration would be a 1 or 2 LDK, meaning 1 or 2 bedrooms and a living dining kitchen space. In my apartment, there was a genkan, or Japanese-style entryway, a kitchen with a square foot of counter space, spaces for a stove, fridge, and washing machine, 2 sinks, 1 kitchen sink and 1 bathroom sink, a toilet with one of those toilet bowl sinks, and a shower and bath unit. The main space wasn't large by any means, but I still had space for a desk, couch, and a bed. Oh, and there was a balcony. So not the largest or most palatial, but honestly not bad at all, and quite comfortable for one person. Definitely worth the 120 bones I had to shill out every month. But apart from the room itself, what's the most important thing about an apartment? Say it with me. Location, location, location. Honestly, the location was even better than the room itself. I live in a smaller city in western Japan, nowhere near the scale of Tokyo, but I wouldn't call it the sticks. And the neighborhood was extremely comfortable. Within a 5-minute walking radius of the apartment, there were convenience stores, supermarkets, drugstores, schools, a home goods store, the list goes on. And this wasn't even a particularly sought after or notable neighborhood. Get this, there was even a train station like a 4-minute walk away. And from that station, you could get anywhere in the city's metro network. The train also ran right past my building and was incredibly annoying, but let's not talk about that. So how could it be this cheap? I've seen plenty of studio apartments in even small cities in the US go for $700 or $800. And even if you argue that an apartment like mine is half the price and doesn't include certain amenities like free parking, that's still significantly cheaper. Still, how could this apartment, like a lot of places you see online, possibly be only 19,000 yen or $120? Among many factors is the fact that a decent amount of housing in Japan is subsidized by employers. Housing allowances, company housing, and units subleased from an employer are all fairly common employee benefits. And there are even tax incentives. Company housing or subleases are also quite common for foreign workers who might be unfamiliar with the leasing process or struggle to find a place on their own and prefer housing provided by their job. This is especially true for the thousands of foreign English teachers in the country who in turn produce a significant amount of the English language Japan vlog content you see on social media, including apartment tours. I received a 50% rent subsidy from my employer, without which my rent would have been closer to 40,000 yen or about $250. The supply of available housing is also a huge factor. While many countries like the US suffer from housing shortages, particularly in urban areas, Japan has long had an abundance of housing. While that's in part due to population decline, it arguably has a lot more to do with government policy, which has incentivized or directly funded the construction of tens of millions of units in the post-war period, leading to a large supply of homes despite limited land. Japan also has a very different zoning system to that of the United States. The US has a patchwork system where local officials, often with very little knowledge of city planning, can decide exactly what gets built where. This can prevent all kinds of development and give individuals with personal agendas an incredible amount of power to stop or slow construction. In Japan, on the other hand, there's a national zoning system that allows for far swifter, more efficient development and planning by experts on a much larger scale, leading to less expensive, more livable communities. This world-class city planning has also led to world-class public transit, meaning that for many people, it's convenient to live farther away from their job or city center in less expensive housing and commute via transit. Now, there are of course downsides to an apartment like my old one. A shoebox-sized room, poor insulation, walls so thin you can hear the neighbor snoring or the train thundering past. But honestly, you really can't beat the price.
Yeah.